Good afternoon. We have the latest on the two shootings in Ohio and El Paso in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to continue our back to school week with safety in our minds. With the two shootings happening, which we'll talk about later in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking about people bringing weapons into school. Looking back at some articles throughout the 2018-2019 school year that has to do with the subject. Let's face it, guns are not allowed. Just because the Second Amendment says you have the right to bear arms, it does not mean that you have to just sneak into your daddy's closet and get yourself a weapon. It's a safety issue, folks. It's a safety issue. Knives, guns, spurs. It'd be a big time safety issue. Take that, but between the fingers, done. That's it. You take that, but in between the fingers, you're going to get cut. Now, if you look up students bringing weapons to you look up an article about that, you go to Google, and then you go to news, no, you probably look up students arrested. You look that up, and then and this is what happened. You find an article from CBS Boston that happened about a week ago. It happened just 1 week ago, back on Wednesday. A 16-year-old student arrested after bringing a gun to Haverhill High School. On Monday, a 16-year-old student was arrested for bringing a gun to school. After that, students were dismissed at the incident. The arrest happened off campus, but police are still searching for the gun. As a matter of fact, weapons are not allowed. Like, whether if it's a toy gun, a toy knife, still, it's a weapon. It's not allowed. It's a safety issue for all students. We don't want nobody getting hurt. Just like leaving campus, it's a safety issue. We don't want anyone getting hurt, period. Then this happened back in May 3 months ago. A student brought a loaded handgun, a 9mm handgun, in his gym bag, and then he was arrested for that. You see, in some states, it's against the law to bring a loaded weapon to school. You could be arrested, and your gun can be confiscated. Also, if your parents ask you why'd you bring your gun to school, I just wanted to show it to everyone. Why can't you just take a picture of it? Just a picture. A picture. Picture. And back in March, this student was arrested on Friday, and the officers recovered the firearm. Because guns are not allowed. When I hear stories about this, it just really boils me. Like when I do stories like this on my show, it just really boils me. When I hear it on the TV, like in some states, it just really boils me. Because if you bring a gun to school, that's the first step to a school shooting. You bring a loaded gun to school, that's the first sign of a school shooting. The truth of the matter is, when something happens like this, 66% tell at least one person, 80% of them, go and tell at least one or more people. I mean, I don't know if Susan Schofield was watching the shooting and comparing that to his true children, but if she is still doing it, it's got to stop. You know, we'll get to her in a later future episode. They still got a lot more shit to cover with her. Going back to the... I mean, even if a kid was to get arrested for that, he was a minor. So the bottom line here is, don't bring a gun to school. Don't bring a knife or a gun. If it's a peanut-free school, don't bring peanuts. You don't even need a gun. Rocking with some walnuts to people who have an allergy. Sneak in some peanuts with you, even though they're allergic. I'll crack these motherfuckers. Get on the ground. I'll crack it. I look like it. I look like it. And don't you know why I do cashews all over the parking lot? Like, I can do, like seriously. I talk shit about... No, I don't want to say that. Like, there's some shit that I talk about on this program that I don't even want to discuss. I'm not biased. I'm not racial. I don't judge people by the way they look. I judge a person by what's inside, not by what they wear. It just makes them feel good. Alright, so we talked about but we're still not ready to talk about the two shootings. Coming up, we're going to be focusing in on students bringing cigarettes and alcohol to school. These are the two major issues here because, let's face it, when you go to school, it's a safe place. But if you bring a drug into school, well, that's a serious problem. We'll talk about that after the break.
In school suspension. You know, for getting caught smoking is 2 days. Yeah. You bring that paperwork in to me tomorrow, you'll be good to go. All right. Here you go. All right, thank you, ISS tomorrow. Yeah.
We're talking about, our next topic we're going to be talking about is students bringing cigarettes to school. Let's face it, it is a big issue here between cigarettes and academic learning. But how bad is it? It should be against a school. It's a school rule for all schools. No cigarettes allowed, especially e-cigarettes, vaping. It's a distraction in the educational process, and it's a safety issue. Like, you can't take guns to schools that are a safety issue. You can't bring cigarettes. And in the state of Connecticut, it's a state law. I mean, you can't bring cigarettes onto this campus because it's a state law. I mean, you can take it up with me, or you can try to take it up with the judge. But if you break that state law, you're going to juvenile court. I mean, you're going to juvie. You'll be sitting there saying to yourself, well, I shouldn't be smoking that cigarette. But in the state of Connecticut, if you were to start smoking in the state of Connecticut, we need to have like a school-based health center for all schools. If a student starts to smoke, we need to give them the option to go to the school-based health center and go lightly on the discipline. The reason for that is because we need to teach students and parents. We gotta teach parents that smoking in schools is not allowed. And for kids too, if a child smokes a cigarette, it's going to be bad for them. I mean, you see commercials all the time like how cigarettes can kill. That's why if you were to read the packages on the side of the cigarette on the card, it'd say cancer, heart disease, emphysema. You might be saying, well, that's the ingredients. It's not the ingredients. It's what causes a cigarette. Don't be smart mouthing me with that kind of crap. And they have a tobacco-free school policy for all states. No student, staff member, school visitors permitted to use any tobacco product like building, facility, or vehicle on lease, rented, any school-sponsored related event. Like some principals, they have no tolerance for smoking. If you're caught smoking on school property, you're automatically in trouble. You can't bring cigarettes onto this campus because it is a state law. You may take it up with me, or you may take it up with the judge. If you were to take it up with the judge, he'd tell you the same damn thing like I said. Cigarettes are not allowed. The reason why that is, at a young age, if you smoke at a young age, there's a good chance you'll die of a cigarette. There are studies that show about this happening. I mean, there's a graph. 74% of people got mostly D's and F's because they're smoking. 46% mostly A's. 31% 46% are like mostly B. 60% mostly C, and 31% mostly A. They're like 45% are like 45% are D's and F's. That's like less than 27%. 27% are like first time 13 years, current cigarette use. Do you ever smoke cigarettes? That's the figure too. This is according to the CDC. 3% of people current frequent when they got A's or B's. 6% like in high school. I mean, this is their survey back in 2009. 22% were in their D's and F's. 21 and 52. %31% were in their A's. It's 46. Like, this is all the chart here. Studies are showing that if you smoke cigarettes at a young age, it is a big issue. You've seen ads. You've seen on TV shows. Smoking can cause lung cancer, heart disease, emphysema, and lung cancer. There is an age limit. I mean, you see minors all the time. I'm gonna get off subject, but you see minors all the time walking in the store under the age of 21, buying their first cigarette. Like a 10-year-old who can walk up and just go buy a cigarette. And that's a big safety issue. You ask for an ID, they make up a fake one, they give it to you, and then they give it to the guy running the counter, and then they believe that you're old, that you're like 27 years old. We have laws that protect people from cigarettes, and all schools have no tolerance for it. I saw a student in my class once who bought chewing tobacco. He bought chewing tobacco. It was non-chewing tobacco. His name is Christian. A student named Christian. He came to my class because I'm like a special ed kid. He came into class with chewing tobacco, and then the teacher was like, "What is that?" He said, "Chewing tobacco," and then the teacher got mad. He got sent to the principal's office, and in the end, he got 2 days in school suspension. His chewing tobacco got confiscated. Mind you, it was non-chewing tobacco. So whether it's chewing tobacco or dip, all tobacco products are not allowed. Even alcohol. if you're to bring alcohol on the school premises, not to be consumed by students under the 18 by the Liquor Act of 2010. So what is the impact on this, you might ask? Because underage drinking is the biggest issue. If you're under the age of 21, there are problems with, you might have a problem with alcohol. Alcohol is for people like the age is 21. That's a fact. According to a study, 30% drank some amount of alcohol, while 17% rode with the driver who was drinking alcohol. And for the youth, the consequences is school problems, higher absence, and poor or failing grades. So that's why if you continue drinking alcohol, you're gonna be sleeping in class, and then teacher asks you, "Hey, why are you sleeping?" "Oh, because I was hungover." In some states, it's illegal. Because in my state, in the state of Texas, it's a state law to have alcohol on school grounds. So if you were to bring some alcohol with you, you would be under arrest for possession of alcohol on school grounds. Kids will not stay at parties where alcohol is involved. Like, seriously. It's a big issue. If you drink alcohol, you're gonna miss a lot more school, a lot of absences, and when you go to truancy court and the judge asks you why are you always absent from school, and when you say because you were drinking, the judge will ask you how old are you, and if you say I'm under the age of 21, it's a big issue. The judge will will order you to stay in school. And on top of that, he will order you to do rehab, meaning no more drinking. Because alcohol seriously, in Connecticut it's a state law, in Texas it's a state law, in some other states it's a state law. So if you break the law, you go to jail. So let me tell you this. If you brought alcohol on school grounds and snuck it in, you're going to make trouble. Like, I was in 7th grade, I brought like a long neck bottle of root beer. But it wasn't alcohol. It was a soda. Mr. Gray was asking me, "Is that beer?" "No, it's root beer." Root beer is a soda. People make mistake like soda for alcohol. That's another fact. Because let me tell you something. Going off topic here, in the state of New Jersey, no school is allowed to have soda machines in the hallway because it's not nutritious. That happens in the state of New Jersey. So there's a reason why the soda is in a locked faculty room. Y'all might be thinking like, I don't think it's fair that teachers get caffeine all day and we don't. That's why we're falling asleep in class. Well, it's a state law. It's not nutritious. And if it was nutritious, then the thing what would happen is you get kidney stones. But one time when I was in junior high, I brought like a can of soda, and the substitute teacher was there. She heard it, and then she told me to throw it away. And I was like, I couldn't throw it away because I was thirsty. So I threw it away anyway. I mean, all schools have vending machines because it's an obesity issue. A third of the Americans are obese or at risk of being obese. That's why they made school lunches healthier. And people don't like it. They're turning to the outside world to go get some food. And it's a big safety issue for all students. We don't want no one getting hurt. I talked about this before. I will talk to you about it again till the day I die. Or until somebody says, I will not do it again. Going back to the topic about weapons in school, a razor. Why does a razor have to be a weapon? Like, I brought an electric razor to school, the teacher confiscated it, and I think she still has it. I was trying to shave my legs because I'm like a hairy man because there's a fact. All hair on the bear's body can keep you warm. And the fat inside of you can keep you warm. And it's a fact. Shave my legs. One of my friends knows about this. And I started lying to my teacher saying, no, I don't have it. I started coming out with the full truth. And she still has my razor. Alright, okay. I spent the whole time talking about back to school, but last topic when we come back here is going to be all about film and school campus. I talked about this before with CJ Gonzalez. Now we're going to discuss this issue, and a bit later talk about the two shootings that happened in El Paso and Texas and Ohio. Okay, going back to the cigarette topic, I was going to say, if the principal takes your cigarettes, you can just beg on, no, please, I'm addicted to them, please, I promise I won't smoke in the school grounds, please. Beg all you want, but it won't work. It ain't gonna work. Even if you were begging like a dog, please. You ain't gonna get them back. You broke the rules. You do the crime. You do the time. Alright. Let's talk about filming in schools. This is a serious issue in my school. 2 people. I'm not going to name names. I know those 2. They went to school. They went to my school. I'm going to name one student. I'm not going to name the other. One student in particular, CJ Gonzalez. He was trying to post signs all over the school. The reason why that is, he didn't have permission for it. He filmed on the school property, and that's a serious issue. Nobody wants to be on video, not even the principal. That's why some electronic devices are banned. Like, you're not allowed to film on school property without permission. If you do, they're going to ask you to delete the footage. And if it's posted on YouTube, they're going to ask you to delete it. If you refuse, then you're going to be in trouble. Big trouble. ISS or in school suspension. Even if they can't find your YouTube channel, you need to be the one to just say, well, like, you can't be just posting your students on YouTube. Like, even though we have a YouTube channel, it's because it don't mean that you can just post whatever you want in the school. Jack Doherty, on the other hand, he got in trouble with filming his in-school suspension. The assistant principal was nice, but she spoke to Jack's mother. And he got another 2 days of in-school suspension. He skipped the other one. That's a serious issue. Now, before we go, we'll be right back. Before I leave, I want to go on to our next topic, and before that, I want to tell you, Wednesday we're going to cover the 2 shootings that happened last weekend. But first, our last topic here is foul language. Inappropriate language is not allowed in any school district by any person, student or staff. Unacceptable. You may have the right to freedom of speech, But foul language is unacceptable, and it's because it's not. If the principal, if this is what the principal wants to enforce, then this is what he has to enforce. You can't fight it. If you have Tourette's syndrome, you need to let the nurse know so that he can notify the principal. Just notify your teacher. And in the case of what happened with this student from the show, the old True TV show, the principal's office, named Jordan, he says, well, he swears at school, but he doesn't swear at home. You don't respect the authority of the school. You go to school to learn. You don't go to school to become a foul mouth. The dictionary has 10,000 words. The reason for that is, like, you know how to communicate without using foul language. That's a good thing. The fact is, if you were to use foul language from a teacher, you get insulted. You would own the teacher. Just like that. So when you go back to school, don't use foul language. It's inappropriate. Profanity is a big issue. Vandalism is a big issue. Graffiti, disrespect, violent conduct, all the other stuff. This is unacceptable behavior. We talked about this on several different episodes. This is the episode I want to talk to you about because this is back to school week. And I have no feeling at all that no one else is going to be doing crap like this anymore unless they're going to be answering to me and before the judge. That's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Monday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Wednesday at 4:30 Eastern, 4 Central. With the latest on the 2 shootings in Texas and in Ohio. Thanks for watching, everyone. Good night.